Hi, if you clicked on this video, you wanted to learn more about relative frequency histograms. To easier explain what they are and how you make them, let's look at how to first make a frequency histogram. So, for example, we have this table here that shows the frequency that books are sold at a particular bookstore and the prices of those books. So, in other words, it shows you how many books are sold per price. Stop. So as you can see, this table shows books that were priced from $1 to $10. 100 of those books were sold. And then 160 books that were priced from $11 to $20 were sold. 100 books that were priced from $21 to $30 were sold. And 40 books were purchased that were above $30. Stop. Alright, so now that we've got our scales and our labels, we can now make our histogram. So, the bars are on the histogram represent where the frequency is, kind of like an easier way to understand the frequency. So, for $1 to $10, we're going to use the data from our table that we got, which is 100, the frequency of books sold. $1 to $10 goes up to 100, so we're going to go up to here. Draw the bar there. Try to make it as in line as you can with the 100. 11 to 20 is 160, so we're going to go slightly above the 150 that we made. 21 to 30 is 100 again, so make it as even as possible with the $1 to $10 one. And anything above 30 is 40, so we're just going to go slightly below the 50 bar. And boom, that's our histogram for the price versus frequency of books sold for that. But that's not the relative frequency histogram. Relative frequency will look similar to this, but it's a little bit different. And in the next part, we're going to show you how it's different. So stop. So relative frequency is kind of equal to, or can be defined as, the number of successful trials over or divided by the number of trials total. So it's basically the percentage of the specific trial that we want. So, for example, the relative frequency of $1 to $10 books being sold is going to be 100. And in that table, we had 400 books total that were sold. So we're going to divide that by 400. That's going to come out to equal 0.25. All right. And 11 to 20, so let's label that 1 to 11, and then 11 to 20 is going to be 160 divided by the total, which is 400, and that is going to equal 0.4. Okay. And then continuing on, we have 21 to 30, and that's the same thing as 1 to 10, so it's going to be 100 because we had 100 books sold from $21 to $30 divided by 400, our total amount of books to get 0.25. And then finally we have everything that's above $30. So we sold 40 of those, so that's going to be 40 divided by 400, and that's going to equal 0.1 or 1/10. So if we do this correctly, everything that we have here should add up to 1. So 0.25 plus 0.4 is going to be 0.65, plus 0.25 is 0.9, plus 0.1 is 1.0. So we did it correctly. So out of all of the prices that we have, if you get the relative frequency correct and you calculate it correctly, they should all add up to 1. Alright, so these are the relative frequencies for each of the prices, and now we can make a histogram that represents that as well. Alright, you can stop. Alright, so now we're going to work with the relative frequency histogram, which is a graphical representation of the relative frequencies, which we got. So first again, we have to make our scales and label our axes. So on the x is going to be price again in dollars. And on the y-axis, we're going to have the relative frequency. Okay, so our relative frequencies span from 0.1 to 0.4, so that's what we're going to make our axes. We're going to go up by 1/10 each time. 1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and then the prices, same thing as last time. We're going to have 1 to 10, we have 11 to 20, we have 21 to 30, and then finally everything above 30. Alright, so now we can make the bars, which again show the frequency, like you can actually see it, so it'll help you better understand it. So the first one, $1 to $10, dollars on there, was 0.25. So we're gonna make this bar kind of in between the 2 and the 3. Try to get halfway. I'm gonna have to eyeball it because we're working with just regular whiteboard. But next we have 11 to 20. Supposed to be dollars on there too. This is 0.4 because we sold 160. The relative frequency was 0.4. Just gonna be all the way up here. $21 to $30. Relative frequency was again 0.25. So it's gonna be halfway through the 2 and the 3. And then finally, everything above 30, we only had 0.1 of those, so get it around this. And as you can see, this relative frequency histogram matches the kind of like hill curve, or the bars kind of match up to the regular frequency histogram. So if we do all this correctly, we get the frequencies. They should be the same thing, but this is graphically showing the categories and how much they make. So the first category is 25% of all the books. The second is 40% of all the books. Why is this all like here? And then the next one is another 25, and the last one is the last 10% of all of the books. So this relative frequency histogram is a graph that shows how often something happens in percentages or proportions. And that's basically all it shows.